Okay. We are here at the National Library in Helsinki. Tanja Tiekso, how are you?
I'm fine.
Good.
Good session.
So we have been now in 3 places, in 3 different rooms. Maybe you can say the name of the rooms.
Yes, we were in 2 reading rooms. The first one is the silent reading room for researchers, and the second one is for microfilm researchers, taking the microfilms of old Finnish newspapers and magazines. So I was hoping to hear the sound of the old-fashioned microfilm machine, but we didn't hear it much. A little bit, yes. Not much. And now we are, the last place is the lobby, which is very high. It has, what is that? Is it rotunda? Like round shape?
Yeah.
Church-like space.
Pretty spectacular.
Yes, with beautiful paintings and lots of books.
Yes.
Of course.
Everywhere.
And I think Ionian is pillars.
Yeah, actually, it was interesting when we were in a microfilm room and we set this we have this basket where is Tanja's computer and recording equipments and keys. So when I set it on the table, it kind of immediately found some electromagnetic bzzz.
Oh yeah.
So we were kind of listening to the machines.
Okay.
It was really interesting.
I didn't actually notice that in microfilm room.
Yeah. But it was just when we arrived, but I moved I think that there was this table lamp or something.
Okay.
I put it, then it turned it off, but it was like.
I just thought the sound of the traffic is so big in that room, but it also was bigger.
Yeah.
Louder.
Yeah, but yeah, it's really silent in those 2 rooms.
Yeah, especially the first one.
Yeah, people are really quiet.
The reason why I wanted to go here, I wanted to listen like people writing, reading, breathing, yawning. I love that sound. In this room there is a lot of happening all the time, like these automatic doors opening and closing, and when they open they bring new sounds to this space.
Yeah, this is really hectic.
Yeah, yes. After these first rooms, yes.
Yeah. But this rooms makes those other rooms possible to be really quiet, so it's really important room.
This is also used as a concert space.
Yeah.
It has a grand piano.
And I noticed there's a beamer also, so maybe some visuals also.
Also, yeah.
But yeah, really people are focusing in their own work. And you can really hear it.
Yeah. For me it was quite interesting because usually I work in these rooms, but well, sometimes with microfilm, but mostly in the quiet room. I've never actually listened that acoustics, but but somehow it's still super familiar. Like I know this place. It has a very soft, silky sound. Like everything is like soft. So I don't know a place like that other than this.
Yeah. Of course, now it was a bit different because we were listening through the recorder.
Okay. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yes.
So we were also listening to recorder, but
yeah. But still, I can recognize the sound.
Yeah.
And there are many sounds I especially like the squeaking of the steps out to the other
floors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because there are 3 floors in all of these spaces.
Yeah. Like they are in the same room, open space, but these balconies.
The sound in the microfilm room used to be very interesting because they didn't have any of the old machines left anymore. They still had, I think, some 5-6 years ago, like old wooden machines, and people were like using them all the time, and it's like soft and very drony sound going all the time. It's also quite noisy.
Yeah.
So I miss that sound.
Do you come here often for working?
Nowadays I usually go to a different library, which is it's like student library, like new library, or just renovated library nearby. And there is this cafe which is super noisy. I don't know, this National Library was renovated some years ago, and after that they have like rented a space for happenings. And for example, one day I saw a fashion show going on in this space, and it has been difficult for, if you want to like work and be quiet, it's annoying. But these rooms are usually silent. But lots of tourists here also.
Yeah, not a lot, but some.
Yeah, not now, but often in summertime this can be quite crowded. And then the tourist comes to every floor, like in Rotunda, which is like the book tower. Where I used to work. Too noisy, but somehow it's easier to work in very noisy place than in a place which should be silent, but it's not like.
And working, we are now talking about writing and reading.
Yes.
Yeah, I have to still say, I can see now the is it Doom Church of Helsinki, this really famous white. So that's also one reason why so many tourists, because this is right next to the white Doom Church of Helsinki, which everybody kind of knows.
And this is also one of the oldest buildings in Helsinki. By Engel, the architect.
But so, about your working, what are you working right now with?
Well, right now I'm writing an essay and also doing research about listening. I'm also studying what listening is actually. And also as a philosophical tool. Also as like artistic method, but also as art itself. Like I was thinking about this yesterday, and I realized that I don't have to like make music all the time anymore because I listen so much. So for me, it's like listening and playing. It doesn't really matter. It's like the same thing. Like listening anything, like listening here.
Yeah.
The experience is similar to going to a concert.
Yeah.
There's nothing new about this, but
Yeah. Actually, when you are playing, you are also listening.
yeah. And it's the concentration and I also started to take lessons in medieval church singing. I only had one lesson, but what I liked about it was that when you sing in a church, when you start, you have to like get to know the space, and then the singing has all the time to do with the acoustics and like listening to the overtones and everything. So it's not about yourself, but it's about the space. And this is what I like listening, and this is one of the reasons I like listening more than composing or playing nowadays, because I have a problem with like the egoism of making art at the moment. So like listening and listening to space is not like about me, but it's about me in a space.
There you are. You have published at least one book you wrote. I just checked it yesterday, like 16 it came out. No, 14. 2014.
13.
13.
Yes.
Yeah. So
a
7 years ago.
Six.
And the name was
It's about the idea of experimentalism in the manifestos of the musical avant-garde.
Yeah.
So it's research.
Yes.
And then I have also translated from Italian the Luce Russolo's Art of Noises.
Yeah.
That's the English translation.
Yeah.
So I have been doing this stuff for a long time.
Yeah, I was actually yesterday. We had this book. Was it your PhD?
Yeah.
Book. But anyway, I read it like 5 years ago or something, and I have to take it new round because it's so long time ago, and I fastly checked that it was really like interesting things happening there, but funny that because you and me, we are constantly reading, and then what you read 5 years ago, it's just good,
Yeah.
The same with the
It's always
records.
like that when you like learn new things, and then you go back to some text. It's different. It's not the same anymore.
No.
For me, it's the same. I don't remember my thesis anymore.
Yeah, and it's a long book, so there's so much stuff in it.
I actually opened it one day and was like, okay, did I write this? Okay. So, I'm also writing about silence at the moment. I think about it a lot from different angles. And one is that in my thesis it was a lot about John Cage, because he's like the central figure of experimental music. But since that research, I have started to think more like I did mention the egoism already.
Yeah.
And Cage talks about that and like Chen idea of not to bring your ego, and that's how he composed it. It's not like presenting himself, but and so on.
Yeah.
So I've been thinking this problem of composition, like I like call it after silence, which means after cage. So how can you make sounds today? How to start sounding? And I practice deep listening. I have 2018 I did I gained a certificate of deep listening. Pauline Oliveira's method. So I use that. I really like their philosophy. And what I like about it, it's also very Cagean, but still she also adds the sounding. And how the sound is like made, it's made somehow in like very organic relation to listening, so it's not like separated from it.
Yeah.
So it's like the same thing, and for me it's still a wonder. Like what is still like the smallest gesture to start composing after you like understand this silence thing.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of like philosophical work.
It's pretty the first step, making the sound. It's pretty like from 0 to 1. It's infinite in a way.
Yeah. And you have to have some kind of theory or explanation, like why do you do it, and what does it matter, and also it's an ethical question, like how should I say it? Well, there's some kind of crisis of human being going on, as we all know. So it's also a question of a need of human music, and so I feel like I have to like recheck the reasons to compose and play. And how it can, or how to not hurt anyone by playing. So how would playing and composing be ethical and equal? So it's a very difficult question. But listening is good.
Yeah, then it's just happening.
Yes. There's no problem in listening. There's one thing in Oliveira's philosophy, like this, no judgment, like no judgment of what you hear or how you feel, or I think it's a good one.
Yeah, and I like also, I don't know that Oliveira's philosophy so well, but for me it's also the freshness of, you can just listen to it fresh all the time. Every sound is fresh. Hearing it first time. I heard, just came to my mind, we were talking about composing, that I was checking some document about Alvin Lucier, and he said that this is something to do with the gauge that Morton Feldman, he didn't never like change anything what he composed, and that was for me kind of like new idea to composing if you do it on a paper and you just do it and it's going perfectly all the time, so you don't go like back and make changes. It's like perfect. So that's also kind of interesting because usually you just go back and forth and changing many times everything, but you just it's more like playing improvised music that you cannot kind of fix it anymore. It's done.
Yeah. It's also the no judgment idea.
Yeah. It's perfect. Like,
yeah.
You can't make any mistakes in a way. I guess this is not like 100%. Of course, he takes something out probably, but my bigger idea was like this. I don't know, was it like one period or the whole time, or I don't know, but still interesting.
Yes, it's like this question of control and freedom.
Yeah.
Which is always important. In listening, it's always clear that you cannot control the sounds. When you go somewhere to listen, you cannot control what happens.
No.
So I like that.
But you had some like, or maybe Pauline already had it, that like composing through listening. Have you? Or was it like?
I don't know if Pauline says anything about that, but I think she's like listening and performing all the time.
Yeah.
This is her thing that when she goes, or when she did go to a stage, she says that she first listened to the space and the audience and what was happening in the space, and then she starts to react what she hears. And she says it's like microsecond, like the difference between playing and like listening and reacting, so it's really close to each other. And no plans before she go to a stage, and I really like this idea. That's quite difficult. Of course, she has her style. It always calls her to stage, but
we have our tricks.
I know what she means. But space is very important all the time. Also in listening, making music. For me, that at the moment it seems to be the answer for many tricky questions. Like actually many artists do, for example, Lucier and many other artists like Sarah Davachi, they like listen or use the overtones and this kind of like spatial like phenomenon in their compositions. It's like getting rid of the all like what is the word? It's not interpretation.
I don't know.
But anyway, you're like what you want to like hear, and maybe that's not the best example, but there could be better examples of this.
But it would be like super interesting to see some like sound art pieces in this space, for example. It would be like sound really incredible.
It's also possible to organize it,
Really?
I think. Yeah. We should try.
Yeah, because usually, if somebody is doing some sound and it's in some theater or something, it can be really dry.
Yeah.
It's like super dry, and then there is this ventilation. So it's like you are stuck with the PA.
Yeah.
I'm not really. Of course, you can do many things, but like for example, this kind of space, so many more possibilities. And of course, if you have a fixed idea in your mind, then you can bring it maybe here. But if you're a bit more open, then make something different. I'm going this evening to Vapaan Taiteen Tila, some Kallion noise happenings, and that's also the place where it's maybe, 8-second river.
Yeah.
That's harsh noise in that space must be really wild. Let's see. I'm really curious.
That's actually a good place. A space. Large ego.
But in your work you are quite nicely like mixing like artist work and then academic work, right? Like you are working there in a
Yeah, I try to
middle
find path.
Yeah. How does it feel?
Yeah, it's for me it's quite easy, but institutionally it's still quite new that you do research and or we speak about artistic research or practice-based research. And there are so many different opinions what it means and how it should be. So it can be anything, I think.
Yeah.
And that's the best thing.
Yeah.
Because there's no truth what it should be.
Yeah.
And for me it's still, I have a 3-year project going on. And the first year was about birds. And I was listening to birds with my colleague, who is, she's from the literature studies. And we went to dump, like waste treatment station, to listen to the birds. And of course, when you go to a place like that, it's not only listening to birds, but listening to yourself. So listening or trying to understand who I am and what I'm doing here and what is this rubbish, like through the space and the birds and like being human agents in that like soundscape. Like we have the shared soundscape, but we have different reasons to be in that shared space. So I've been reading animal philosophy. But next, I think I'm trying to study the ego.
Ego.
Echo.
The same thing.
Yeah, I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
And the point is to trying to find a different angle to like yourself and your artistic person, like you as an artistic person through like trying to step outside of yourself. So now I think that echo and overtones could be one answer. And I will experiment with that thing next year. And the last year, I'm going to listen like underground sounds with one geographer. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but it's quite interesting, different angle, because the sounds that are underground we cannot really hear.
No.
So it's like thinking about listening without really hearing.
So what kind of sounds there is underground?
I don't know it. it's my third year, but I think there are some sounds that comes from, of course, like weather phenomenon, and then like maybe the ground has its own sound.
Yeah, because it's liquid inside.
Yeah,
planet, so.
and like the rock, like the is it like a rock that most of the Finland is
like basic rock or something?
Yeah. So it should have some
echoes.
Some, yeah. And then there are a lot of like small insects and worms and
yeah, lots of life definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think it's more like philosophical.
Yeah.
Thinking about the ground in general. So it's kind of a mix of ego and eco-criticism.
Yeah.
Post-human, if you like. Post-human theory.
Yeah, maybe if you listen to these rooms which has lots of echo, and it's always really nice to listen to those places, and I was starting to think that is it something that you can like sounds are moving more or something. It's not so like, I don't know, there's so much air and you kind of your mind enjoys that there's space with like this emptiness only, empty silence, just this airy space, freedom.
Yeah, freedom is a good word. It's like the sound is not like affect to the like people who make the sounds or like the sound sources, but it's like free to move.
Yeah. It's because if it's no echo, it's just like and it's dead. Here comes it stays alive for a moment. And
Now I'm all the time thinking about the experience of singing in church a few days ago. The idea was to sing like quite short sounds and then let the echo do the rest. And it's like letting the sound go, and it's very nice idea. Like in classical singing, or actually any singing, you either use the PA, or then you have to be the PA yourself. Like you have to push the sound in the space. So this was like totally different. That you can keep the attack, but you cannot like do it all by yourself. So there's some kind of spiritual.
Yeah. But it's really nice that you can go and practice actually in the church. So that's actually really important.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Yeah, you have to have like a very large echo to practice medieval singing. also there is difference between sounds that resonate in your body and in the space. And I also like this like transformation between your body and the space.
Yeah.
It's super interesting.
Yeah. Especially in singing, of course. You
Yes,
really
of
feel
course.
it. Yeah.
But also when you play an instrument, you can feel that if it's close to you, like guitar, or it always, the sound always resonates in your body.
Yeah.
Even when we were listening here, I felt a resonating body. I always like feel it. I don't know if it's my imagination.
Yeah.
But usually when I start to listen, when I do these deep listening exercises, I first like recognize my body and what happens in my body. Like now, the first thing I recognized was my heart and how it was pumping, and like because it's always exciting to start listening. And then you get a bit far from your body, and then you come back, and then you go again to the space, or even outside of it. Like I heard the tram going on every now and then. It was actually quite nice sound. It was super small.
Really basic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you come back to your body. Yes, maybe the composition, like what is composition, like the silence question. It's like going between this body and the inside and the outside. These are the words Oliveros uses. And deep listening, like what is the surface, like when it goes out and when it comes in.
Yeah.
And that's one of the basic things, that when you breathe in, you like receive sound, and when you breathe out, the same sound.
Yeah.
And I like this idea that actually playing is like breathing out and then breathing in. And there's some millisecond thing, the surface, when it's playing and when it's listening.
Yeah.
There must be some way to explain it.
Yes. Yeah, because listening, what it needs concentration, right? So you not start dreaming, you just stay there listening. And it was really interesting actually sitting in this first room, because we were all sitting in a row in a way with people, that everyone was watching in the same direction, and kind of it reminded me a bit like some sitting in a meditation hall somehow, that people they are not moving, they are watching in the same direction, and then it's really quiet. But only thing that we were focusing on something else, that people there were focusing inwards, I don't know, whatever they were doing, but they were really focusing inside, and we were focusing like outside in a way. So it was really, it's just really interesting feeling. Both work, everybody was working, but directions were like a bit different. And it's been funny to work with this. This is from the shop, this basket where we have, because you can't bring any katsi, like any bag. Any bag, so we have to put everything in this shopping basket. And we are walking here with we have these big headphones, and kind of nobody don't, everybody, most of people think that's really normal what we are doing.
Yeah.
Like two really focused persons here, like walking and listening, and like everybody's really like cool with that.
Yeah, no one notices.
No, it's completely fine.
Except friend of mine who came here.
No.
Yeah, wants to come to say hi. I was like.
Yeah.
Is listening for you? Is it always meditation?
I don't know what is meditation, so.
Okay.
Or.
For me, anything is meditation. So.
Yeah, it's pretty hard word.
Yeah.
But basically, yes, I maybe. But maybe in meditation there is focus is in everything, not only what you hear. And for me, for meditation, definitely the listening and music has been great help, because it's for me it's been always easy to focus on sounds. So then I can also semi-easily focus also to my breathing and my body sensations and my thoughts and my feelings and whatever happens. So yeah. So it's kind of one part of that. Now. Really quiet.
And now the sun came.
The light.
Yeah. I never just listen when I'm listening. I always recognize other things as well.
Yeah, like what's happening all around. Yeah.
And I think my thoughts also when I'm listening.
Sorry, you.
Also think my thoughts.
Yeah,
it's not like.
Yeah.
Of course, I think about listening all the time. But I don't believe that we can actually separate listening from the other senses.
No.
I have a good example. When I listen outside, often it's actually sensing. Often it's sensing the wind. So it's like the wind goes to your ears all the time. So that's listening outside.
Yeah.
Often. So it's not really listening, but it's like responding or sensing the wind.
Yeah. In your face also. And,
Yeah. But mostly in your ears, and it's actually quite big noise.
Yeah.
And I really like it because I always have this feeling that it comes from very far. So it's somehow mind-blowing, universal thought.
Yeah, I have seen some people when they bicycle, they put these, like what you put over the microphones, they put these kind of things in their ears, so they're not hearing it so loud all the time.
Okay.
So they
I
have
like it.
But maybe if you're doing it all the time with the electric bike, then maybe. But yeah, definitely it's really, if you really focus on listening, I think at the same time you really focus everything else. Like maybe it's because the act of listening is something that you are just surrender. Is maybe a bit too big word, but you know, you just like let it come, and then kind of you let everything in.
Yeah, that's one part of it, but then maybe this is the meditation part also, one of the meditation parts, that actually you are not listening only with your ears but also with your skin. And like your organs.
Yeah, the whole body.
Yeah. So like sometimes I have done these exercises like listen with your skin. It's very interesting. I try to sense your whole skin at the same time. Try to listen through it. Like just suck the sounds from the environment through your whole body. It's interesting idea.
I think the deaf people sometimes, I don't know if this is true, but it sounds pretty wild that if you take a balloon in your hand, you can listen by touching the balloon. So if you don't hear with your ears, you can listen with your hands.
And also through floor and walls.
This would be actually a pretty nice piece that if you put, there's this automatic opening doors for 4 directions, and if you would put like little differently tuned white noise in every room, and when when one door opens, and another one, it would like be this like really random composition.
I really like the sounds that comes from the lobby. Like corridor, it comes and goes.
This is kind of like, it's working like this without white noises perfectly also. So I really enjoyed this, finding these sound installations all over.
I wish someone would come from the second floor doors. But there's something going on up there. I have no idea what's there. Maybe the door. Maybe it's the door. Mickey Mouse.
We take a photo now. Yes. So, do we have something else to say? What do you think?
I think we have said a lot.
Yes. But thank you. This was really
Thank
nice.
you. Yes. Thank you too.
See you.